All right, I am back. Shout out to South Coast Kane. Was able to kick it with those guys last night. I saw a lot of Twitter spaces last night. I literally saw people up as late as 4 or 5 a.m. Well, as early as 4 or 5 a.m. this morning. They didn't get off. So obviously, a lot of people had a lot to get off their chest. But with that being said, there were the South Coast Kane show last night, and I don't like to go on other people's platform to impose because I have my own channel, so I can I can blabber off my thoughts and my opinions on my own channel, right? Because I'm in control. But anyway, man, it's not much I can say, to be honest, um, about what transpired yesterday. But there are a couple things I do want to say. Right, I didn't have a chance to say them last night on South Coast show because the direction of the show went in a certain direction, and that dialogue was necessary. Right, but shout out to my guy Truck and Chubby. Before the season, we did a show about predicting the conference champions. No, it's not a fake laugh. We're live. So we did a show talking about the conference champions before the season, right? So for the Big 12, I picked Kansas. He ended up picking Iowa State. We both picked Miami for the ACC. The reason that I'm saying this is because this bowl game was this close. Now, I'm not the moral victory guy, all that stuff, but that bowl game, that matchup was this close to actually being a reality. Had we handled our business and Iowa State not get run off the field by Arizona State, very well could have been a playoff game between Iowa State and Miami, just depending on how the seeding went. It could have been a situation where we got a first round bye, or it could have been a situation that we ended up playing each other, in a game. But in reality, this very well could have been a playoff game had some things, gone a different direction. But it is what it is. Now, I don't subscribe to the theory of a bowl game is meaningless. The reason I didn't feel like the Rutgers game last year was meaningless, simply because not all these young players and not all these older players are declaring for the draft. Not all of them are leaving via the portal. Some of them are actually staying to lock in. So it does give you a glimpse of like actually are guys actually developing? Like do guys actually look better? Because for a large portion of the season, we didn't see a lot of the younger guys. And when I say younger guys, I'm not just specifically talking about the freshmen. I'm talking about there were sophomores and there were even juniors that we have that we didn't see a large dosage of, right? So in these type of scenarios where guys opt out or guys may not be giving their all, this is an opportunity for those guys to finally showcase what it is that they have. And not to pile on Emory because that's a whole other can of worms in that of itself. I don't really think that me personally, right? I didn't really see any of the younger guys or guys that we haven't seen a lot of. I didn't really see them just pop off tape. I saw some of the linebackers, they pretty much kind of looked the same as they looked last year. There were what's up, QB? I mean, I didn't really see anything, right? And I know Cuban, he gets on to me about Jordan Lyle, but this is the point that I'm at right now, right? I joined the message board back in 2012. It's 2024 going into 2025, right? So essentially, I've been able to fully interact with Kane fans outside of my proximity for the past 13 or so years. And starting in 2012, being new to talking to these people, one of the first things that I got sucked into was this whole crowning players because of flashes. Because of flashes. And after 13 years, what I have what I've realized is that the guys that are actually gonna do something are gonna be at least halfway decent if they are on the field their freshman year, they're actually making plays that contribute to the bottom line. Like Duke Johnson made plays that contributed to the bottom line. Um, Rayshawn Jenkins made plays to benefit the bottom line. Brevin Jordan, guys like that. Jordan Loud, Cuban. Ruben Bain. Those are guys that made plays that contributed to the bottom line. And those are the guys. I'm not going to forecast and say that these guys are going to be day one or day two NFL draft picks. I'm just going to say that they are showing that they deserve at least part of the ranking that they got. And I could throw Mark Fletcher in there as well, right? You know what I mean? Even though he's had a case of, kind of putting the ball on the ground. But he's, for the most part, he's done more than flash. And so what I see now is I see individuals that are saying that, well, I saw this guy flash. And I'm like, this guy's been on campus going on 3 years now. If all they're still doing is flashing, chances are that's all you're gonna get out of them. That's just what it is. I'm literally at that point after 13 years of watching this. If all you have for me is a guy has flashed and he's been on campus going on 3 years, that's it. They're not going to put any consistency together. Like this is what they are. And usually the guys that are flashing are usually the guys that more or less like, hey, I'm taking what I learned in high school. I'm taking a little bit of what I'm getting in college, but for the most part, I'm going for what I know. I'm trying to be more athletic than the person that's in front of me. And sometimes it's going to help me, but more times it's going to hurt me because I may be taking myself out of a play and I'm making the structure of the defense or even the offense look worse than what it actually is, right? So, um, I see Cuban in the back. Give me 1 second. Let me finish this. Just give me 1 second. So that's what we have, right? I ended my last statement on South Coast County Show last night was that we have more questions going into next year than we did coming into this year. Shout out to my guy QB again because he makes sure to every now and again he makes sure to put that tweet out, quarterback away. So imagine that. That was literally the general consensus coming into this season, which is quarterback away. Imagine if Tyler Van Dyke played halfway decent in Georgia Tech, North Carolina. What's another game? If he doesn't throw the interception at the end of Florida State, just whatever game we lost, every game that we lost that Tyler Van Dyke played a significant role in. If we just say if he plays average or better, this is a completely different outcome. So coming into this year, we're just a quarterback away. Now, obviously, the season played out, and we realized that we got the quarterback. And unfortunately, one side of the ball decided not to show up. Special teams was up and down unless it was actually kicking the ball from an extra point or a field goal perspective. So really, we had one and a half of the three elements of the game. We had one and a half of them actually figured out. And so we're going into next year with these questions. Who's going to be the quarterback? Who's going to replace Xavier Estrepo? Um, who's going to replace these defensive linemen that got the majority of the snaps this year? Who's going to replace Kiko Marinoa, who played the most snaps out of all the linebackers? Who's going to replace Mish Powell, who played the most snaps as a safety? Damari Brown opted not to play. Is he still hurt? There's rumors circulating around that, dating back to the spring with this whole brother situation, even though they said there wasn't a die thing. But and there are other questions. But there are individuals that are literally trying to say that, hey, look, all we need is 2 or 3 players here or there, and we're back on. We're back where we're going. That's not the case. Our transfer portal haul, for the most part, with the exception, and again, Cuban, he may get on here and he may be able to say some names. But aside from Matt Lee and Cam Ward, and I want to say this, I want to borrow this from Matt Shadell because I've been listening to their show a couple mornings on my way back home from work. And Matt Shadell said free agents. Every person that you get in the transfer portal is not a free agent. And what he classifies as a free agent is a guy that can come in and you immediately make an impact on the bottom line. So if we really look at this, we've only had 2 free agents. Someone may say 3. You know what I mean? You may want to throw Kiko in there. You may want to throw some other guys in there. But in the reality, it was Matt Lee and it's been Cam Ward. Those are the only 2 free agents. Everyone else has been pretty much guys that have just played a position. You haven't been exceptional, but you haven't been terrible. And then you have the other guys that have just been. I mean, I don't know how in the hell you made it to a Miami Hurricane roster to begin with, right? But anyway, I'm bringing Cuban on, and I'm not gonna try to stay on here too long, man, because again, it's really not much. It's really not much to really say.
Good morning, Shad.
Good morning.
All right, so I'm gonna take I'm gonna troll. No, I'm not gonna troll. I'm just because everybody thinks I'm serious about this. But one thing about you, you said flash, right? Everybody's writing this flash thing, but you were writing loud with 2 flash plays and then called them the next,
I
Reggie Bush and Lindell
no
White combination, right? So
no.
you
That's
fell
not a
for the flash as
flash.
well, sir.
It's not a flash.
I mean,
You know what a flash is? A flash is Chris Johnson scoring against who was it? It wasn't Fam. What was his freshman year? Was it Bethune when he
yep,
goes around the edge? That's
yep.
a flash. Lorenzo Lingard against I believe that was Bethune Cookman as well when he takes it for what 70, 80 some odd yards.
Right.
That's flash. Like
Okay.
you make that one run and then we never see that again.
Okay, so we saw 2 runs, right? From Lau, right?
We saw 2 big runs, but I thought he was very
Against who?
productive in his time in the game.
Against who?
Who did he
You
play? It was against South
USA,
Florida.
South
It was against
Florida,
it was South Florida. But
and he
he's contributing in every game that he's played in. He's not
no,
had a
he has
huge
not,
game.
Shad. No, he has not. He's if you look at it, it's
He's
little
done more
yards
than
here.
Flash.
He's had 2 flash plays, and you calling him the next Willis McGahee and everything.
I
So
said Clint.
he had
I said
one. He
Clint
had
Portis.
one. Clint Porter. He's had one more flash play than Chris Johnson and Lingard, and you want to
But the,
crown
but
him.
the but think about this though. He's a true freshman that has been able to actually take carry. He took carries away from Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher the first part of the season. Lorenzo Lingard took no carries from anybody. Chris Johnson took no carries away from anybody. So that's why I'm saying he's done more than Flash. Now I may be, I mean, okay, I'll admit I'm putting extra on it by saying he's the next Clint Portis. All right, I'll concede that, but he has done more than Flash, and we don't have to sit here and just assume that hey maybe Jordan Lau will be good going into next year. No, we can say that yes, Jordan Lau would be a big portion of the offense next year. I
Ooh.
don't think we could say that about Lorenzo Lingard or Chris Johnson. It was just hope because those 2 guys had one thing in common. They were extremely fast, and we set these unrealistic expectations for guys who, in Lorenzo Lingard's defense, he came from a triple option, never having to take runs out of the shotgun, and Chris Johnson, who is just an athlete that just so happened they felt like we'll just put you at running back.
Well, you're not being fair to Lorenzo Lingard. He tore his
I'm
knee. He tore his knee, and coming back from a knee injury is
even before
very
that,
difficult. He
even
didn't get any
before that.
plays. He had sporadic plays here and there. He has he had the same. He look. I mean, Lorenzo Lingard and La looked the same to me. Your
I'm
freshman
not.
year,
I'm not,
right?
no,
We're gonna.
no, no,
We're
no.
not. He had one. So this is the thing. Lorenzo Lingard played one game, right? Everybody was hyping him. Then he got hurt in practice, and he didn't play again till his junior year, right? And then you're basing what Lorenzo Lingard did was off his junior year highlights. He didn't have any real plays. You know what I'm saying? But that's here nor there, right? We're gonna agree to disagree. I don't think, as you saw last night when Martinez went out, you saw the future of that running back room. They barely could find holes and flash. They could
But
barely
we
do
know.
anything.
But we know why though,
I mean, this
because
is why I'm about this.
there
Go
was
ahead.
no threat of it. There was no threat of the downfield pass.
What do you think is going to happen next year, then, sir?
Hopefully they go get another quarterback.
Who? Where? From what school? You already
I
saw Gabby put
I
out some
don't
dude from FBS, Delaware State, something like that. They
I
want
don't
Poffenberger
I
Part
don't
Two.
know. I don't know. Go get Reese Poffenbarger back.
So this is my thing. So I've been trolling on this Emery stuff, and everybody has been believing my hype, right?
I
The
saw
reason I
that.
said, huh? Yeah.
I saw
So
that.
I've been trolling people because I'm believing that Mari only recruits elite players, right? So I've been saying Emery's elite because Mari recruited him, right? So I've been trolling, and people actually started believing that. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't caught on my trolling yet, right? But this is what I try to tell the CCC. Name me a elite quarterback Mario has recruited.
I mean, when you ask that question, what are you basing it on? Are you basing it on what they did in college, or are you basing it on high school?
Man, use a college. I can't do nothing about high school. Just
Well, then, if we're doing that, then we there is none except
yeah.
for Tyler Shock, who's claim who because of what he did at Louisville. He turned out. Well, no, you said elite. I don't like throwing that word around. So he has no elite quarterbacks that he's
Yeah.
recruited that have done anything. But but again, from a recruiting standpoint, again, let's just take it at the word itself. Let's not put extra sauce on it. Let's just say getting players from high school to come to campus. Let's disregard what they've done after that. He got Ty Thompson and he got Tyler Shock. Those two guys, were borderline elite guys, high 90 composite guys. So those are two
According
guys.
to who? According to who?
According to everyone's favorite star
There you
rating guy, Andrew
there you go.
Ivins.
Yeah, there you go. Right. It's like, it's like
But
saying I'm trying to
just
I'm gonna
saying
keep it
though.
I'm gonna keep it rated G. It's like bringing in a pretty girl, right? But then when it comes down, down to the time, she can't perform, right? Because she just can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So it's yes, she's pretty, but she has no substance, right? That's what you're doing. It's like you're getting a bunch of pretty girls that have no history of any substance. She can't have a conversation with you. She can't cook for you. She can't do anything, but she's pretty because the
Yeah.
world says she's pretty. Who gives a damn what the world thinks she's pretty? This because she could clean, do other things? No, she can't. That's how Mario recruits. He recruits the pretty girl that has zero substance.
I mean, but again, that's how you get that title. Because again, no one again, this is another thing about recruiting, right? This is the other thing, right? No one wants to have this conversation. No one cares about saying that. Let's say, for instance, like the guy, the head coach at Washington State right now, right? You recruit John Mateer. I saw commentary that they said the backup looked decent yesterday against Syracuse. No one's gonna say he's an elite recruiter, even though you were able to develop a quarterback into someone that the University of Oklahoma wanted, and it looks like you have another one in the pipeline right behind him. Like no one is saying that because these guys are not. They don't have the rankings. So that's why when we bring up this, like you have your battle about is Manny a better recruiter than Mario, I would side with you to an extent if we were to just go the full length of this. But we're not going the full length. They're
I
just
mean,
talking about getting guys on campus. They're not talking about what those guys do after they get here. They're just talking about getting guys on campus. And if that's what they're arguing about, under no circumstances can we say Manny Diaz did a better job than Mario
I mean,
Cristobal.
Shad, we're doing, what I'm doing is comparing 3 to 3 years, right? It's as even as you could get. Manny's 3 years recruiting classes, Mario's 3 years recruiting classes. You clearly went on a South Coast show.
I did.
You went down
I did.
the recruiting list, and you saw defensive ends that were 2'6'4", 190 pounds. The
But they're
same
not, but they don't
that
care. But this is what I'm saying though, Cuban. Listen, we are talking to individuals who do not care about that. They don't care that we have currently on roster 5 guys that have the same physical makeup as what's my man name that left? Cyrus Moss. We
Cyrus
literally have
Moss.
we have 5 guys right now currently on roster that have that same exact makeup. We saw one of them in action yesterday. It wasn't on the field.
Oh yeah, he was all yeah.
He doesn't
Swing and
look like
miss.
he doesn't look any bigger. Like again, if you saw that as an outsider and don't know the roster, don't have the book in front of you, you would literally say, we have a wide receiver that is getting into, or no, defensive back. We have a corner getting into it with a defensive tackle.
Yeah, because Arroyo looks bigger than him.
So this is this is what so
But this is
again,
but Shad,
these
this is
people
my
do
whole
not
point.
care.
But Shad, this is my whole point, right? It's a Andrew Ivins. I'm looking at this kid. He's 6'4", 210 pounds. Give him a 4 star, right? And it's like
Borderline 5.
borderline 5 star, right? And it's like, and he
As a
plays in
matter of
Chicago,
fact, on 3 game mark is like for the 5th star.
and he plays in Chicago, right? Where they don't really play football out there, right? So it's like this is the whole my whole recruiting issue, right? It's like, yeah, Mario's recruiting great according to 247 because it's fake. It's not real. Like, how the hell are you gonna rank all these defensive ends as 4 stars when they don't even have 4 star bodies? I mean, I'm going to the Cotes thing, blues chip ratio, right? These guys will be silver chips according to the Cotes blue chip ratio, right? And it's like, y'all keep
We,
telling me he's a great recruiter, and it's like he's getting, I mean, look at the cornerbacks, right? Look at the receivers. Look at the players that we're actually getting and their physical traits. The only place that he's recruiting to what they're supposed to look like is running back and offensive lineman, right?
you
Every,
know what?
everywhere,
I
everywhere
just,
else is like you're not it's not a college body, right? And it's like, what are we doing here?
I
You know what
mean
I'm saying?
that
When Manny recruited, he was getting kids that were ready, college ready, day one.
I
Hence
can't
why
say
a lot
that.
of, huh?
I can't. I can't say everyone. Corey Couch was like
Majority,
140 pounds.
majority. Okay, but he played year one as a slot cornerback.
Unfortunately, he played. Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, but he played as a starting slot cornerback, right? You
yeah.
had Cam Williams, you had James, you had LT. They played day one, right? The Harveys, you had Jafari Harvey, Harrison Hunt, Campbell, Zion Nelson, right? They
He
played
shouldn't have
day
played.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but day
Zion was
one,
240. It's
they played
240.
one, but he played day one, right? None of
Yeah.
these guys at Mar Recruit, they cannot play day one because they're probably still 190 some pounds, soaking wet,
Well, they
right?
said Mario likes the seniority thing.
And that's another problem, right? It's like you're gonna bring in these portal kids, and what are you gonna tell? I mean, we had how many cornerbacks we recruited this year? About 4 or 5, something like that.
I don't know. I don't keep up with it because at this
And I'll
particular
keep on, yeah.
juncture, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why I'm even more inclined not to keep up with it because I saw insiders say that uh, the reason that the recruiting class is not up to par is because they came to somewhat of an agreement to say that the problems that the team currently have is not problems that a high school player or high school players can solve. So no Ben Hanks, no Pickett, those guys like that were so coveted. You can't help us in 2025, so we're not going to, so, but we'll go get a guy that has had 4 season-ending injuries. Then we'll go get another guy that's converting over from wide receiver, but he has size, so
Like 19 snaps or something like that, right? And it's like,
I don't know. I don't know.
and we're crying for this safety out of Wisconsin, right? And it's like,
I thought he was a
man,
corner.
nah. I mean, I don't, Chad. I don't care. I'm not gonna lie. I don't, I'm getting to a point when I don't care, man. It's just play
Why don't
acquisition
you
has
care?
been. It's kicked out of me, man. It's funny because I was listening before coming here. I was listening to Spaces, Twitter Spaces, and
They
people
get,
saying wait
they
till
get, they,
2026, right? And I'm like, man,
I heard somebody
you
say
know,
27.
geez, right? And it's like we're being impatient, and it's like you got to give it time. And I'm like, how much time, man? Like, it's funny because I
I,
still remember the conversation. You were like, hey, how long is this going to take? And I was joking around. I said, Sad, it's going to be about 8 years, right? And it might be 8 years, man.
it's not. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because before I do these shows, I like to kind of have open dialogue and kind of bring up topics. I'm glad you brought that up because that was something I thought about. Right. One of the things that I hear people say is that, well, every team is losing players, right? And so, yes, that's a true statement. But then on the flip side, we also have to realize what we have as a head coach. And this kind of also ties into the conversation that we were just having in terms of recruiting. There are only a handful of head coaches who are looked at as absolute dogs on the trail. That when they get their eyes set on a player, their hit rate is high. Mario's one of those guys. Kirby Smart's one of those guys. Sarkeesian is one of those guys. I think Lanning has entered the chat. Obviously, Nick Saban at the top of the charts on that. I think you could probably throw Lincoln Riley in there as well. And maybe one or two other guys' name that I'm missing, but like literally that's it. Everybody else, everybody else is having to deal with players that are not necessarily as coveted. They have to build their rosters up to get this. Now, the reason that I'm making this statement is Mario is geared a certain way. And people close to the program, shout out to Katie, these insiders, yes, they get their
I'm
information
one of
so
them.
wrong. But these insiders have said that Mario he's in a new world right now because it's not about building relationships with high school players over a 5 to 6 year period. It's about bringing in a transfer portal player and selling them in a 2 to 3 week time frame that this is the place for you to come. Now again, rounding third, coming home. The reason why I'm not going to concede or to fall into that mindset of, well, it's happening to everybody, don't freak out, is because Mario is not used to being in this world. This world made Nick Saban walk away. So coaches who have been used to dealing with having less than, they now have the opportunity to get some of the better players while also sticking to their proverbial recruiting aspects of going to get these diamonds in the rough. They will be fine. We are asking Mario Cristobal to do something and to operate at a high level, doing something that they have already said this is not his specialty.
So could I
So
could I
Cuban,
respond? Could I
so
could
so
I? Oh,
Cuban,
Yep.
So Cuban, let me ask you that question, Cuban. If Mario is geared a certain way, and again, we've seen the portal guys that he's brought in. For the most part, these have not been guys that have made a difference on the bottom line. So why are individuals feeling like that he can all of a sudden just flip this switch and just go over here and be something else?
Before you get there, Shad, right? So, I like busting myths, right? So everybody's saying, "Oh, you're losing players in the portal." Name me any key player we lost in the portal.
I can't. You know what, Cuban? I'll. You know what? I'm gonna say all these guys are key, and the reason I'm gonna say all these guys are key is because of the likes of Xavier Restrepo, the likes of Jacoby George. Two guys not highly recruited, but were at a place for 3+ years, and we were able to see them fully blossom into what they became. Obviously, there's going to be some contention about the records that Xavier Restrepo broke, but he's an old school Kane in terms of mentality. Jacoby George played well. He self-inflicted some harm to us, but he played well. So when people say we didn't lose a starter, I'm like, how do you know we didn't lose a starter? Because those players have all flashed. Riley Williams flashed. Every single player that we lost in this portal has flashed. And it goes back to the beginning of this conversation when I said I don't want to hear about flashing anymore. Because those players flashed, and the same players that y'all are holding up to the moon, they are doing the same thing. They're flashing, but you're saying they're going to be the ones that get the program over the hump. So why are we excluding these guys and saying, oh well, they're not starters anyway? So
Right, but this is my thing, Shad. It's like people keep saying that we missed on player X, play. This guy, the whole portal thing, right? That we're losing players to the portal, right? I cannot name a player we lost to the portal as an impact player at another school, right? I
well,
just can't.
what,
And everybody's gonna say that Horn is not gonna do nothing at Bama because all those passes are gonna go to Williams, right? And it's like I understand if we had a Cam here, or we lost a Restrepo or George or Arroyo, but we're not losing these players. So it's like this whole the portal, the portal, the portal. The portal give us, the portal take us. The portal has not taken anything from our program yet. Now, in the next couple of days, we might see portal take us from this program, right? But
well, okay. I see what you're saying.
yeah, we haven't lost anybody, right? So this whole we're losing players to the portals. No, we're not losing. We're losing third and fourth stringers. We're not losing like what Bama, Georgia, all these other top tier schools are doing. They're missing, key players. We're not. We're missing.
Okay, okay.
We're removing portal players. We're removing Manning players, right? That go
What is
to SMU and ball f out, right? So, go
well?
ahead.
This would
Sorry
be
about
my
that.
this. No. I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because this is a good conversation. My pushback to that would be we do not have this large plethora of just homegrown guys from Mario's regime. I'll say that. We don't have those homegrown guys that are just making waves. Like literally, if we just look at Mario's 4 recruiting classes, we literally know who's the best recruit that he's got. Ruben Bain, without question.
Right.
Um, but
Francis is next.
I don't know. At this point, it's a wash to me, man. I haven't seen spectacular. Maybe this upcoming because again, you haven't made an All ACC team yet. You made freshman All American. Okay, cool. Now, if he makes an All ACC team next year or something of that nature, then I'm like cool. But at this current point, I may say Inez Cooper is his second best because Inez Cooper will be going into his 4th year as a starter, and that's not to be sneezed at under any circumstance in the way that he grinded and got his body down for 400 pounds. So I understand when people say, "Hey, we haven't lost a starter," but my pushback would be, well, where are these big time starters that are making these massive plays in the first place? Because I don't see them. Like Ruben Bain would literally be the only person. Like I say, I said what I said about Jordan Lyle, and I feel like he's going to be good. But again, if Jordan Lyle leaves, then individuals could literally just say, "Oh well, he was a third string running back. He's not like he's the starter." So like you literally could make that argument about any player besides Ruben Bain. There is no other junior that's going into next year that's going to be a junior. There's not another player that's going to be a sophomore that you can say this about. And even the guys that are left here from Mario's first class that did not count, there's not a player from that class that you can look at if they leave and you're like, oh, well, that's a major loss. Like Ruben Bain literally is the only player on this entire team there's not a transfer that if we lost, we literally can say that we lost something. The rest of these guys have not done anything to say that y'all are not replaceable. But this kind of sound hypocritical, but we're only saying that because they have not been here long enough to really get into what they are as players. Like Isaiah Horton, this was his junior year. So really, Isaiah Horton was here for 3 years before we saw who Isaiah Horton was. The rest of these guys, Riley Williams has been here 2 years. So we don't know. So I can't say we haven't lost a starter when the majority of these guys have only been here for 2 years.
Well, Shad, what have these players done at these other schools? I don't know. I mean,
I
fine, they
mean,
were not starters here, but what? I mean, outside of the Manning players, because I don't want to include those guys. The Mario players, what have they done? What has Cyrus Moss done? What has
but you know what?
uh, 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 Trevante Citizen done? What has Sagapalo done? What has the defensive end from last year? What have they done at these other schools that we are
But this is
drastically yearning and looking at the picture like, man, I wish he was here. Name me one player you say that, damn, I wish that guy was here at this program right now.
I can't name one.
So why is everybody complaining that we're losing people to the portal and this whole portal issue?
Because well, I can't speak for those. I know why
I
some
know,
of
I
them are
know.
complaining.
For
No,
yourself, yeah.
but I know why some of them are complaining because it kills a narrative that they had about he's gonna build a roster the right way through high school recruiting and supplement a couple of portal guys here and there. That's why they're complaining. But while complaining, they're also trying to disregard these players as if they didn't covet these players. Now, as far as these players going to other schools and not doing anything, to me, that just goes back to the part of recruiting that you want to talk about, which is getting players on campus and then what do they do once they get on campus. So we can say that these were bad evaluations, or we could just say that these players they may have lost their hunger, or maybe they went to places that didn't fit what they were doing, right? I mean, we can put all of it on the table to me. So anytime I see someone say, well, what did they do at the other spot? Then to me, it's like, obviously they didn't do anything here or saw that they weren't going to make a contribution here. So they left and didn't make a contribution anywhere else. So that's a misevaluation.
Because this is
And no one
my question.
say that.
Where is our Cam Ward? Where is our Simeon Barrow? Where is our
I just told
Kiko
you.
Marigola? Right? I know, I
Kiko,
know. I'm just saying.
I'm
This is
not
just a
putting
statement
Kiko
that
in
I'm
there.
saying. But
Corey Flag is Kiko. We lost we gained nothing with Kiko this year. Nothing.
that's a Manning recruit. I told you, don't put Manning recruits in there.
But he transferred.
I mean, you can say the whole damn SMU roster, right?
Well,
But I don't give that.
yeah,
I don't give that. I don't give that credit to Mario. Again, this
but
is this
but
is
you
my,
but
my,
but
my
you
this.
know,
Well, my
but you know,
statement is here, Shat, is recruiting and evaluate. Because I just heard the Beast, right? He says he compares Mario to Butch Stevens, and I'm like, people need to stop
I don't know why
doing
people.
this.
I don't know why people do that.
Like, stop doing this. Like, Mario cannot. I'm like, Butch had Hall of Famers he recruited. There is no Hall of Famers on his roster. I'm sorry. Even as
Like I
good as
told
Bane
you,
is,
I told
huh?
you Ruben Bain the best player on this roster, and
He's
I
the
mean,
best player. Yeah, but he's
and,
not a
and,
Hall of
and, there,
Famer.
and there's not another to me. Ruben Bain is here, and all everyone else is there because of what he did his freshman year. Now, obviously, he's gonna have to. They're gonna have to make some decisions with him next year about him kicking inside, and hopefully, he can maintain that same level of quickness and be that mismatch we need him to be. Because that would be a major travesty if we don't see the Ruben Bain that we saw as a freshman ever again.
Well, yeah, I
That to
told you.
that
But
to
I
me,
told you.
that to me would be fireable.
I told you the reason why Ruben Bain looked great, and people, I get called a hater, right?
Well, you know what? Now
There was
Ruben Bain, you
two.
got to go in and now you got to be LT for one of the guys on the outside. You
There
now
was
you
two.
have to play that role.
There was two people helping Ruben Bain out, and that was LT and Harrison Hunt, right? People
Well,
wanted,
now he got to go play that role now.
yeah, people wanted to knock that, and it's like, and I was trying to tell people last year on South Coast shows, like, if you do not replace LT and Harrison Hunt, Ruben Bain's gonna look average, right?
Well,
And he looked average this year. People want to blame the injuries. I'm like, it's not the injuries, man. It's he doesn't have
I,
any help.
I mean, it could be a myriad of things. I mean, the defensive line, it didn't come together the way it should have come together. Ruben Bain got injured. Akeem Mesidor special cleats for his foot. I don't think CJ Clark gave us anything. Marley Cook didn't give us anything. Barrow gave us something. Moten came on later in the season, but I mean, again, I don't want to talk about the defense, man. I mean, it's been rolled into the sunset. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I don't feel Lance Guidry should be fired.
I told you I don't think he should be fired. It's not, it's like how could you cook with fake meat, right? Uh, it doesn't matter who you bring in as a DC, right? And same thing for Gidry, right? Nobody's getting on not on Gidry, on Dawson's head, but Dawson's just as bad as Gidry, right? But the difference is Dawson has the best quarterback in UM's history. If he didn't have the best quarterback in UM history, we'd be confident to say it as well, right? So it's like if you don't have the players, it don't matter, right? But people keep getting strung on, oh, Gidry is bad. Gidry cannot go from being that bad, that good last year to this bad this year, right? And it's like it's funny. There's one thing that changed. A couple players left. LSU wanted him, right? Other schools wanted him. Then all of a sudden he sucks. I'm like, I am not going to fall into that trap. He is not that bad. It's just you fanboys want him out because you know you want to pitch his narrative. But now next year, this is the thing, Chad. It's just a revolving cycle. We get a new DC next year. The defense looks just as bad. Then we have to give it time because you got to let the DC, get his players in, so on and so forth. So you got to give it time when the new DC comes in. So now you're pushing this development another year or two, right?
I mean, I'm gonna answer what Katie says. Katie, I don't think that's an outlier or the beginning of a trend. I think that's just been a trend. I think when Mike Rump was at American Heritage, there were murmurs of people feeling like that he was steering kids away from Miami because of just that. So maybe American Heritage is like, hey, look, I mean, y'all are doing this all over again. Y'all just repainted the same car. We thought it was different because it had a couple more flakes in the paint, but that's still the same car. Um, to
But we
piggyback
killed,
on,
but we'll be on the Mike Rump thing. Fan base killed Mike Rump, right? He was a bad recruiter. He was a bad this. He was a bad
but
that.
But you know what, Cuban? You know why I don't want to. I'm not gonna tolerate anybody talking about the previous recruiting, because, like I said, I have not heard street agent or bagman since Mario Cristobal got here. I have not heard those two terms.
right?
So I'm not going to allow for y'all to, you know, put up these fake comparisons about, oh well, Mario's recruiting so much better. Well, you're not worrying about bagmen anymore. We're not worrying about street agents. Like the last street agent we had to deal with was probably Mo and Shamar. That was it. But since then, I literally have not heard anything about street agents. And again, I'm not shocked by it, but I kind of am, that individuals that push this narrative for multiple years about how the SEC was buying players and stuff like that, how all of a sudden they're just acting like, well, we've never recruited like this. Y'all said Bagman were in the way. So which, what? But I don't want to go back in the past, right? We're trying to move forward. But to go back to to go back to your point that you were making though, it's like, bro, it's literally just Ruben Bain. Like when you talk about the defensive coordinator, right? Manny Diaz and Gidry, their defenses operate the same in terms
Yep.
of the safety has to be the best player on the defense.
Yep.
I think looking at it, I think Mish Powell was a solid player looking back at it. But Mish Powell cannot be your best safety on your team. Mish Powell
Right.
has to be the number 2 guy. He cannot be the number 1 guy. So then you go down to the linebacker position, and now Kiko has the green dot on his helmet. And again, these individuals, insiders and CCC members, y'all have said his best attribute was blitzing. Well, if that's your best attribute, then you're not the guy I need lining up the defense. I mean, like I said last night on South Coast Show, I don't know if he understood the full statement that I was making, but literally we saw one of the sideline commentators literally show a play about, this is what Iowa State is doing to us defensively. They are outflanking us and we're not adjusting to it. And I'm sitting here like, bro, this is so bad that these sideline commentators are literally saying, Miami, do this. This is the problem. If you fix this, we stop Christian McCaffrey. But like you said, again, if you bring in another defensive coordinator, you got to look, okay, what is the strength of the defense going into next year? We don't know. People want to say it's the secondary, but you can't say that because the secondary is only strong as the defensive line. You have a secondary with Dion, Champ, Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Brian Dawkins, or whatever. But if the defensive line is not getting any pressure or they're not making the quarterback uncomfortable, those guys are not going to look as good as they looked. Notice that from an NFL perspective, any great corner that you have named, when as a great corner, and Cuban, like I said, you're a Dolphin fan. I feel like you know more about some sports than I do. When has there ever been a great NFL corner that did not play with at least a good defensive line in front of him?
You have to play with a good defensive line. I mean,
I'm
Patrick
just
Surtain,
saying,
right?
when has that
Patrick.
ever been the case?
The only time I could say Travis Hunter.
I don't look at Travis Hunter as just a great corner. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. But I'm just saying. I'm
But I'm
stretching
just
here,
saying,
right?
but what I'm saying, I'm going to the NFL level. Deion Sanders played. Deion became prime time with the Falcons, but he became the greatest by
With
playing
the
with the
49ers.
Cowboys and the 49ers.
Yeah, with the 49ers. I think the 49ers.
Champ
Because he
Bailey
had Brian,
became,
you know,
yeah,
go ahead.
Champ Bailey was Champ Bailey. You played with good defensive lines. I mean, obviously Darrelle Revis, kind of a modern day. You play for Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan was gonna have a good defensive front seven. You and Cromartie, like woo the woo like that. But y'all are talking about because of player acquisition that the secondary is gonna be better. But you're not talking about how in the hell who are we replacing Akeem Mesidor and Tyler Barron with?
Easy. What's buddy that's going from Chicago? Scott. Um,
Man,
uh, what you call it? The guy from
man,
Tallahassee. Forget his
man.
name. The 4 no 42. He could dunk a ball. He could do 360.
These
Uh,
guys did not even play this year. That's
hey,
my
hey. Oh,
thing.
then we
They
got
didn't even
Lightfoot. We
they
got
didn't
Lightfoot.
play.
We got Booker Pickett. You know what I'm saying?
They
Uh,
didn't play. Malik, think about this. Malik Bryant got more burn as an edge guy. And Malik Bryant is not Malik Bryant is literally a linebacker body
yep.
type.
Yep.
He's a linebacker, but he's going to have to put his hand in the dirt.
Yep.
Now, if we're ahead, fine. Malik Bryant, pin your ears back, go get the quarterback. But if we're talking about, like, we know what Notre Dame's going to do.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, they're not going to make it a secret. It's going to be QB power. We're going to find some running back from Northeast somewhere who's already 220. He's not going to be 205. And the offensive line is going to be massive. And again, these individuals talked about manning these undersized defensive players, and we literally have a undersized defense right now.
We gotta go get him from the portal. We gotta get more money.
One
We
300-pound guy is not going to change the entire outlook of the defense.
we gotta go get more
Stupid.
Marley Cooks, Thomas Gores, right? Thomas Gores what 5'10", 300 pounds?
He has no eligibility left.
Oh man, that sucks.
Bro,
Oof.
I'm just again, I don't
Oh, but our savior is for the defensive tackle from Louisiana Tech. You know what
let's
I'm saying?
just say he's good, right? Let's just say he's average. In order for him to make a massive impact, he got to look like Gerald Willis.
Oof.
You got to look like that. You got to look like R.J. McIntosh. Like,
No, I mean you gotta be Simeon Barrow, though. I mean,
that's not
Simeon.
good enough. That's
I
not
know,
good
but
enough for the schedule next
Shad, that is the best that we could expect. Simeon Barrow.
year. Okay,
You understand that?
that's not going to cut it.
I know
It's
it's
not
not going
going
to
to
cut
cut
it,
it.
but that's the
It's not
best
going
you'll
to cut it.
probably get. Is Simeon Barrow was what all ACC first team, second team?
They gave him that much credit.
Yeah, yeah.
First team. I mean, I know he played
First,
well.
first or second team, something like that.
I think he may have been second team. I don't think the only first teamers we had were Cam and X.
X. Yeah, I think yeah.
And
You're right. You're right.
well, regardless, I
Yeah,
think.
but I mean, this is
I
what.
mean, in either regard, that's not good enough for the schedule we have next year.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
And the
Not
funny
good enough.
part, the funny thing is, Harrison Hunt made first team, and that pissed me off, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't want again, Q. I'm dead serious, bro. I don't want to hear someone say the secondary is the strength of the defense. I don't want to hear that because it's not a strength. It's only a strength if what's in front of it is good. We're talking about a bunch of flash players. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about flash players that we're supposed to be thrusting.
Hey,
Bro, we're talking
they
about flash players.
they were highly recruited. You know what I'm saying? They're elite.
Bro. And
They're
the thing about this too, right? Is 5 years ago before this, you could literally load this roster down with all these high start ranking players, let them go out to practice, beat each other up, and the cream rises to the top. Not enough cream. It's not enough going on right now for it to rise to the top. I'm gonna steal a statement from Mike Tomlin when he talks about popcorn. It's not enough kernels in the bag to make enough popcorn. It's not enough kernels in the bag. The kernels are leaving. That's why. It's like, bro. like the whole Riley Williams situation. All right, boom, Riley's leaving. Oh well, no one cares. Like, bro, you don't want someone pushing Elijah Lofton in practice in the spring. You don't want that.
Well, this is another thing. Mario does not allow competition, right? He came in here. We're going to compete, this and that. He does not allow competition. The the depth chart is already set. We just don't know. Whoever you see starting the spring game, that's going to be a starter, right?
Oh,
We know who the offensive line is going to be, right? Outside of probably center, right? We know the starting running backs, right? Now, Lyle and Fletcher could have had 1,000-yard season, right? But if Mario had Adrian Peterson coming, right, he would not allow Adrian Peterson to compete or get first string snaps. You know what I'm saying?
inside insiders said that if Martinez leaves, we need to go get a Porter running back.
But I was told Pringle was an All American. You know,
Bro, we really gotta go get like two quarter. We really need we need to go to get like two quarterbacks though. In all seriousness, like
who,
we
where, what, where?
like like bro, I don't care, bro. We cannot go into the season with the second string quarterback only having three actual games.
Well, Chad, all right. Uh, you know, no troll here. Who? I mean, do you trust Mario with his quarterback evaluations?
I'm not. They said Mario gave autonomy back to Shannon Dawson, so it's about do we trust Shannon Dawson at this point?
No, no,
He got Cam Ward.
no. You got an NFL. All right, this is the thing. You got an NFL third round quarterback at the time. What NFL third round quarterback are we going to get this time around?
I don't know. I've watched more football this year than I have, but I mean I don't know. I mean, like I said, to be honest, I like Kyle McCord last year.
You
I didn't
did.
think he was going I didn't think he was gonna do what he did at Syracuse, but I felt like he was a viable option. Will Howard has turned into a viable option for Ohio State. So I mean, there are guys out there. It's just that the unique thing about Cam Ward is even last year they said behind Caleb Williams, and this is official draft profile. Me and Truckin looked at it. Behind Caleb Williams, Cam Ward was the second best improvising quarterback. Last year behind Caleb Williams. So right now, I don't know another improviser at quarterback because again, we saw what happened when our guy got in the game, well, your guy got in the game. Like, there's gonna be much of the same. I do like the best offensive line we had was last year. I think next year's line will be similar
I
to this
disagree with you.
year. I I mean, it's fine. But I'm just going by the numbers. The numbers indicate that last year's line was better than this one. We can't have a statue in the pocket, but and that's another thing, right? I'm gonna get into this, right? I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this question. Many people are saying it's an easy sell to a Porter quarterback. Come play for the number one offense. But my thing is this: you're not selling a person that's a couple of catches away from being the all-time leader in the country. There's not another 100, like we don't have 100 reception, 1,000-yard receiver that they're walking into the building with. We don't have another 600-yard receiver walking into the building, right? We don't
Tight end.
have, and you may disagree with this, Cuban. I won't. And listen, we can agree to disagree unless you bring an intriguing point. But I'm gonna say it. Fully healthy, Elijah Rowe got to be the best tight end we've had since Winslow.
I would. That's tough because I'm looking at Walford.
I can't.
Uh,
I'm
I
talking
know.
about when we talk about total package catching. He's fast. He can block. We haven't had
Uh,
this since Kellen Winslow.
yeah. I mean, I see where you're going, but Njoku.
The Joker
Um,
wasn't a blocker.
I know. I hear what you're saying.
I mean, we
I'm
can.
stressing it, but I see your point. It's hard for me to counter your debate there, right? I see what you're saying, but you got a point. You know, we don't have an Oreo coming back, right?
So
Everybody's
this,
gonna say Lofton, right? And it's like,
I think he's. And you know what? That's another player that's done more than Flash. He's done more than Flash. I'll say that. I think he'd be a good one. But again, what are you selling a transfer portal quarterback right now? What are you selling him?
this great offensive line, Wall of Mirabal, right? Which is a myth, right? So this is what I was going to get back at you, right? So you saying that the line last year was great, right?
I
So
didn't
you
say it
mean
was
to
great.
tell me,
I didn't say it was
the
great.
best? I'm sorry, the best we've had, right?
Yeah,
These past couple years, right? So you're
yeah.
telling me that as a quarterback, you're going to go two tight ends and blocking running back, and you're going to have your number one receiver that you ever had also blocking, right? So you're pretty much telling me every time my receivers go out, I have two options, right? And that's it. So you're telling me I'm only going to throw the ball. I'm only going to throw the ball to two people on this team
Oh, you
because I.
oh, you're talking about that. Oh, you're bringing up that aspect. You bring back the max protection. I mean, okay, yeah. We can, yeah, we can venture into that. But again, but
But you have to include that because you're telling me that
yeah,
this line is
okay,
going to be great.
you
You
got it.
had Restrepo.
You got
You
it.
called it out. You had Restrepo lining up as a tight end, right?
He did. He motioned in. He
You
pushed.
post. So okay, right? And then about this offensive line. You saw what happened when Iowa State saw like, oh shit, Cam's not in the game. We're allowed to play defense now. We could not
Yeah.
run the ball. We could not pass the ball. Embry got pressured. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you cannot have a statue back there. You need an elusive quarterback. I don't know how many. Forget the arm talent that Cam has. His elusiveness is a talent that I don't think. I don't know who else in college football has that type of elusiveness. Even the guy from Washington State, he was a fast white quarterback, right? But he was elusive. I don't see that many elusive quarterbacks out there. So if you're not an elusive quarterback, because I'm hearing the Ewers thing, Ewers is a statue back there.
Oh
Beck
no.
is a statue back there, right? I know Beck declared for the NFL, but everybody was saying, "Oh, we're gonna get Ewers or Beck," right? They're statues. They're gonna get beat up back there because this line, unless it has max protection, it's going to look bad. I mean, Williams was part of our max protection last year. He's gone. The 10-year tight end, he's gone, right? So it's like
I
I
mean,
don't.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I'm more so looking at it from a name standpoint. I thought Matt Lee was really played really well. Javion Cohen was kind of a disappointment. I think Jalen Rivers played well. Nez Cooper kind of still played the same. I think they obviously have to, give some help to Francis because he's a freshman. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's almost like I agree with what you're saying. I don't see that combination out there right now. And if it is out there, I think they're pretty locked in with where they're at. I think the quarterback in Arkansas, I think he's locked in with Arkansas. I think the quarterback from South Carolina, Lenore Sellers, I think he's pretty locked in with South Carolina. I know that Mississippi State's quarterback, I think he transferred out because Mississippi State brought in
He went
who
to
did he?
Texas A&M.
Oh, he did. Okay,
Yeah.
well he was one of those guys, right? I was able to see some of his statistics towards the end of the year. So I mean, it's just so funny, man, because these insiders they said Shannon Dawson said Emory is the ideal quarterback for his system. I'm like, let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question, right?
Before you get there, it's funny because last year he didn't want Bailey from that's at NC State, right? And they try to get him late, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so
yeah.
again, this is why I asked you quarterback evaluation by Mario and them, right? I don't trust it. You had this guy that was amazing, and you said, nah, He's a ninja quarterback, right? We don't do ninja quarterbacks here, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know, man. I don't trust I don't trust this program with with the quarterback evaluation. But what was your question?
This is my question, right? So the CCC, they got the group message this morning. And so now that they're saying it was always in the works for Cam Ward to just play a half. Some said it was a quarter, but now I think they finally got the communication together. Now it's just a half. Supposed to play the first half. And we were supposed to evaluate Emory Williams. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what did they evaluate? If all he did was come in the game and hand the ball off, what were they evaluating?
They wanted to see how how he could handle pass it on to Fletcher and Lon. They wanted to see if that exchange was a clean exchange because if you get it on the snap, you cannot do it with the left hand. You got to do it with the right hand, right? So you got to evaluate the exchange, and you also got to evaluate the screen passes, right? Shaq,
Bro,
all he had to do was put the damn Clemson game
bro,
last year. And it's like this is what Emory is doing. It's a
bro.
screen pass here, screen pass there, and that's it. He cannot throw deep. He has a funky arm, right? He's
Cuban,
the only thing he resembles Ken Dorsey on. He just can't throw it deep and he does short passes, right? That's it.
Cuban. They literally got the group message and they literally are regurgitating they needed to evaluate him. What? Well, why call those plays then?
Yeah, and this is my thing. I don't. I pay attention to the games that we play against FAMU, Ball State, so on. I pay attention to those games. If you don't have if you can't show out during those games, you don't show your flash. I'm like, if you can't do it against them, you're not going to do it against anybody, right? And everybody was on every. Oh, he went 8 for 9 or whatever the hell it was, right? It's like, bro,
Oh,
did you
11.
see?
Oh, you talking about 11 for 12? I think that's what it was, 11 for
Yeah,
12.
11 for 12, something like that, right? And I'm like, did you see that offense? It wasn't the same offense, guys, but
I'm
it
just,
is.
I'm just, I'm just saying though, they are literally going around saying they needed to evaluate him, but all he did was come in the game and hand the ball. The first play was a screen. The first pass was a screen to Ray Joseph, which got all 6 of the yards that he got.
Then one sec, one look.
Oh my goodness, man. Um,
My bad. I'm sorry. What was that?
no, I'm just saying, Ray Joseph got all 6 of the yards on that one play. I think obviously he had. They said he had 5 completions. No, it was 26. Yeah, 26 yards, and he had the crossing route to I don't know who threw the ball. I don't know if it's Shamar Kirk. Somebody threw the crossing route to. It was like third down or whatever the situation was. Um, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I, I really don't know. Like, why? How do we have the same question plus more questions after a year where he was supposed to fit? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there was questions before, man. It's just people don't want to see it. People just want to keep a blind eye and just keep pushing that he's a great recruiter. That we have depth. We have this and that. The
I am
signs were
tired.
there. There's the thing, Shad. The signs were there. People just want to ignore it, man.
But
You know what I'm
Cuban,
saying?
I am literally tired. Like, listen, I'm tired of this narrative right now. Right, this narrative of let him just be the recruiting guy. Let the coordinators do it. It's like, bro, recruiting is not that important anymore. Like, guys are leaving. Like, I'm on Twitter every day. I'm seeing four-star player leaving, 5-star player entering the transfer portal. Like, these guys are here for a cup of coffee. So what does that matter in the grand scheme of things, especially if y'all have already laid it out there that they're not going to outbid for high school players. So if you're not gonna outbid for high school players, which to me, I'm not ignorant. This goes back to what I just put what Katie just said and about the collective not buying the entire roster with the results. Yeah, it's time to see these players. Like, I'm sure Pancake has one of the biggest NIL deals on the entire team. He has not sniffed any significant playing time.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'm again, like I say, I'm sure they're on the hook for a pretty penny from this young man, and I'm sure he's probably trying his hardest to get on the field. But it's like, bro, like you can't say that other teams are overpaying when you more than likely overpaid anyway, ending up setting the current um salary for the players, and now they decide to one up you a year later when you set the precedent.
Yeah. I mean, but
Like you
but
can't go cry foul when you contributed to this.
but it's cheaper to keep it, right, Shay? This is it's cheaper to keep her. This is why you gotta nail your high school recruiting because it's cheaper to keep your high school recruits versus going in the portal, right? So
I don't know that. I mean, like you may have a situation like the quarterback, like the running back, what last year when he told Mike Loxley, third string, like, hey bro, I need a raise. Bro, you third string? What the hell you talking about you need a raise? And I'm asking this question too. I'm gonna say this and we gonna kind of wind this up. They talked about the saving blueprint, right? And one thing about blueprints, like
studio.
I say, the work that you're doing, I'm sure you know about blueprints or schematics, things that go into this to build things. But one thing about technology or any building or blueprints change. They update. New equipment, new regulations and stuff like that. And the reason that I'm saying this is like the Saban blueprint was very good from 2007 to 2020. And I may even say 2022 because Kirby was able to get two natties out of it. You can't use the Saban blueprint anymore. It's almost like the triangle in the NBA right now. It would be no good to use it. Like it was great for its time, but Cuban,
Oh, I disagree with you
can
on,
we
on
still brag about the Saban blueprint in
no, there is
2025?
yes, there is a saving blueprint that we are not doing. Your
What is?
offense and defensive linemen must be grown. If you don't,
Oh,
that's the
oh.
blueprint, right? That's a clear blueprint. Saban never recruited a 6'4" defensive lineman, 190
I'm gonna tell you this.
pounds.
No, no, no. The only one that he did, the only one, and the only reason I remember this is because this was when Al Golden was here. Tim Williams was the only one.
Did he play?
Yes, Tim Williams played. He was a starter. Yeah, Tim Williams was
Okay,
really good at
fine.
Alabama.
All right, Tim Williams, fine.
But
That's
that's
it.
it.
One. I
Yeah,
mean, that's 0.001% of the players that he recruited,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, but in our team, we have literally about four of them on this damn team. That is not the
Five.
blueprint.
We got five. We got
Five,
five.
right?
We signed
So the
and we
blue,
find
the
we
same,
signed four of them in one class.
so the saving blueprint is still there if you follow the saving blueprint. We don't have the saving blueprint here because we have defensive tackles, defensive ends. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have the blueprint. You're just not following me because if you have a stout defense of the offensive line, you could recruit you and me at cornerback, receiver, so on and so forth, right? But it still works. It's just you just gotta execute, and we're not doing that part.
I don't think it's feasible anymore. I see what you're saying, that aspect of it, but to me, it's such a finite amount of those guys like that are just like
On,
that.
hey,
I think
you're an elite. You're an elite recruiter. Make it happen. I am not trying to hear that
it,
stuff anymore.
well, again, Cuban. They said they're not about to get into bidding wars.
Well, Chad, if you're not gonna get
you
into a bidding war,
outbid people already, but now you don't
Chad,
want
that's fine.
you
Chad,
don't want to do it
fine.
anymore.
I mean, but all these other schools, they had to deal with that, right? If you don't want to get into a bidding war, fine. Go get the lower level player, not the lower, but recruit that fits your height, weight, size, right? And just
They
plug them
can't.
in.
They're not gonna do that.
Go
You're
get the three
asking.
star that looks like that, right? Go get your 2 star that's gonna look like that. You,
You're
you,
asking.
you nailed it with Cooper, right? If what was the Jay Z line? If you created Jay Z, make another one, right?
You're not gonna make. You're not gonna make another one. You know why you can't make another one? Because the other ones are leaving the trend. Are leaving, and individuals are saying, "Oh well, they were just projects anyway." So you're not gonna get the opportunity to make another one because for whatever reason they're being pushed out of the classes. They're being pushed out, or they feeling like I don't have a future here.
Hey man, figure it out. Figure it out, bro. So I
He's
don't know what to
not gonna
say.
figure. He's not gonna figure it out. He didn't get recruiter of the year for figuring this stuff out.
Well, that was Saban's recruiter of the year. He was not the
I
recruiter.
I know that, Cuban.
Yeah,
Rational people know this.
people keep telling me he was recruiter of the year. I'm like, what happened when Mario left? Did it fall
When
off?
is the SEC? When is someone that's not recruiting for the SEC one recruiter of the year?
A day
Or
was
Ohio
recruiter.
State or
A
something.
a
When,
a, a,
when
die,
have they,
a die
when have they not won that award? Like, come on,
a die was recruiter of the year. What happened when he came to Miami?
exactly. And they were like, oh, well, he really went like that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so this is why just give me a story and I'll stick with it and I'll run with it. But this whole flippy floppy thing is like I just can't get it, man. You're telling me a die was the best recruit in the SEC, right? You
That's what
told
they
me that
said.
Mario was the best recruit in the SEC,
Yeah,
and it's like, but we have no DBs. Like, what's going on here?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't. And then I heard, was it Gary Furman? Yeah, Gary Furman said that he feels like Mario is taking on a much larger workload in recruiting because of there's not really strong recruiters on the staff, and I'm just like, I'm not. I'm not
Well,
against that because we need coaches, so I'm not against that. But I mean,
Gary is the main.
if you're burning yourself out because of this, then you need to find some more balance.
I love
I,
Matt, but Gary's the main narrative pusher, right? He was the main
yeah, I
one
like Matt too.
saying,
I like
yeah.
Matt.
But Gary was out here. He was the main one saying, when Mario, see, nobody works as hard as Mario. You're going to see recruiting at a different level, elite recruiting. And I'm like, man, keep that same energy because Mario has missed a lot, but y'all are not going to keep that same energy. A lot of the stuff that's being said out is because of Gary. And I'm on the comments and I get at Gary. I'm like, Gary, you
Well,
said this about Mario, and
Cuban. They also said that South Florida players are sometimes smaller, so you have to go out of state to get guys to fit. You know, but
yeah, I
I
mean,
went out of he went out of state to go get these guys that are just the same size as the people in South Florida. So
Gary was another one that says you're never going to see elite Florida recruits leave the state anymore under Mario. Like Manning,
I think
Manning let everybody go,
they
right?
they they had a ball, didn't they?
Yeah,
They had a ball for like one off season. They really did,
yeah, they
and
they were
they're having a hard time trying to recover.
they're having a very hard time, and they're going to make excuses. It's like you don't understand how bad of a shape the program was under Manning.
I
Blah
don't want
blah
to.
blah blah blah.
I don't want to hit. I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear about the shape of the program anymore because again, I feel like that. I feel like Mike Norvell took over a worse situation.
Deion
Uh,
Sanders took over a worse situation.
much worse. I mean, again, there are guys that took up.
Sir Carnegie took over a worse situation.
Think about this. Think about this. I'm gonna say this. There are guys that have took over programs that have recent seasons in which they've won 5 or less games. We
Yeah,
we haven't lost. We haven't won 5. I mean, we've had some 6-win seasons, but literally before Mario came here, the last 5-win season we had was Randy Shannon.
yep.
That was back in '07. Like, like That's the last time. We had a fight. Like, we're talking about Florida State. Y'all got a 2-win season this year. Uh Jimbo's last year, y'all had to reschedule a cupcake to get bowl eligible. Will Muschamp had a 4-win season. I mean, like, so what are we talking about here? Like, I mean,
So Shaq, before you, so we get called negative and all this stuff, right? So let's try to be positive here, right?
I am being
What?
positive. I started the show off by saying that Iowa State and Miami had all the makings to be a potential playoff game at the beginning
That'd
of
have been
the.
a shit show. So Shaq, question: what do we have to do to make this program better next year?
I don't, I don't know. I'm not answering that question because people said if you're not led a program before, you shouldn't be speaking on what it takes to build one. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know because for whatever reason we've made things look so difficult, so difficult. It's almost like for whatever reason the players are. Is it psychological? Like, are they not psychologically able to get out of the shadow of the 0-1 team even this many years? Like, it
Well,
almost seems as if like they shrink in moments where it's time to grab the bull by the horns, with the exception of 2017 Notre Dame.
this is the
Other
thing,
than
right?
that, they just shrink. They're like, it's I don't know what it is, man. I don't
So
know.
this is my thing, right? Well, you need to, Manny was not a great quarterback. Not great quarterback. He wasn't a great coach. He wasn't, he didn't do anything spectacular, right? But there were things that he did correctly, right? And you need to get some of his stuff and adapt it to your own thing, right? Number one, Manning, after the whole Enos debacle, he said, "We're no longer going to be this power team. We're going to be a spread football team, right? Miami from now on is going to be a spread football team, and we're going to recruit to a spread football mentality, right? That's number one. Number two, he said recruiting wise, I'm only recruiting players that are committed to this school. If you start looking elsewhere, you're not committed to Miami, right? So Manny only took players that were all in with Miami, not looking at other schools, so on and so forth. And he's like, hey, that's who I'm going to get. Number three, bring the motherfucking team back. I'm sorry for cussing. Bring the team back. You need the marketing, you need the enthusiasm, you need something. You know what I'm saying? You need to amp up the program. Now, with that, Mario, take your tough core mentality and combine it all together. Be a leader of the program, you know, and combine that together. You know what I'm saying? Start recruiting to what you've preached. Stop recruiting these 6'5", 200 and some, 190-pound defensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna sound bad. Don't stop. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be politically right here. Stop recruiting. Oh man, it's gonna sound bad. Stop recruiting the persuasion type quarterbacks.
Hey,
Right. Uh,
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I know you gotta do, but if you seen when you have the other man's quarterback up in here, right? It looks pretty good, right? You need an agile quarterback. You need a mobile quarterback, right? No knocks against the other one, but if you're gonna get, all right, let me go get your a dual threat quarterback. It doesn't matter what color race they are. Just make sure you get a dual threat quarterback because this whole quarterback is not going to work at Miami. We did the TVD experiment. We did the Emory experiment. It's not going to work. You need a dual threat quarterback, white or black. But
Yeah.
you know, and you have to. I know you cannot go to the 4-3, right? Um, shit, man, I don't know what to tell you here, boss. You got to do something here, man. I don't know what you're gonna do on defense, but you need to shit, you might have to go to a 3-4. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know, but I'm glad you brought that up about recruiting to the personnel because it's so funny, right? Before this season, Mario said no. Before last season, Mario said, "Hey, this is the offense that people have been clamoring for. This is what they want." Only for individuals to turn around and say, "Yeah, they're okay with Mario going back on his word and saying we're gonna be a grounded pound team."
Right.
I love when they say Mario gonna do something and he does the exact opposite. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
Mario
it.
lies all the damn time.
I love it. I love it.
And
I
this is the
absolutely
thing.
love it.
When you got recruited by Manny, right, on defense and on offense, if you got recruited by Manny, you know that you were coming in to play in a 4-2-5 defense. If you got recruited on offense, you knew you were getting recruited for a spread offense. With Mario, I don't know what we run on
I
offense, and
don't
I do
know
not
what.
know we run on defense. I don't know I just don't know, right? So it's like if I had a parent of a kid and Miami's recruiting me, I'm like, I don't know what offense you run. I don't know what defense you run. So how can my kid go to your damn school?
I don't know either. I mean, I really don't. I mean, like if think about this, right? If they don't go get another quarterback and they say, look, we're gonna roll with Emery or we're gonna roll with Luke, then chances are, as a wide receiver, this is not gonna be a good year for you. It's a good year.
Hey, there's a Shaq Coach A standard. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. No,
That's,
no. I understand it has nothing to do with individual productivity. It's about wins and losses. So y'all got to
yeah.
take one on the chin. But I mean, they would know that before the second portal cycle. I mean, after the second portal cycle after spring, they'll know what's going on. Uh, but again, like I said, I'm not even sure if Shannon Dawson is still gonna be here. So I mean, I don't know. I'm more inclined. I'm going back to that whole Rice thing, and some people are saying, yeah, he's looking for a way out, and it's like, bro, your stock is as high as it has ever been. If you do not strike out right now, we saw what it looks like without Cam Ward at a very very small dosage, and that is not employable for any any school that's looking to get the hot offensive coordinator or the hot coordinator to lead their program. That ain't gonna cut it, dolls. That's not gonna cut it, boss. With
Yeah,
that
I
being
mean,
said,
last year they're saying that he might go to the Giants. He might follow pretty much wherever Cam goes.
also they're that tied at the hip right now.
Yeah, it could be QB coach, it could be offensive coordinator, but he's gonna be tied to Cam pretty much.
Bro, if someone gives Shannon Dawson an offensive coordinator duty or offensive coordinator job in the NFL, bro, come on. But it's the
Yeah,
Giants. They're like the Raiders. They'll do something stupid,
Chris ball to the Raiders. Let's do it.
bro. Bro, I'm
Let's
gonna
start
say
there.
this though. I'm gonna say this, bro. Our rivals in the media, they have more ammunition this offseason than they've had in recent memory. I've never they have so much they have so much ammunition this offseason. I haven't seen that. They got the billboard falling, uh Mario being not making any comments about why Cam only played the first half, even though the insiders are saying, well, everybody knew he was only playing the first half. That's a private conversation. So are y'all lying on the man now? He said it's a
No,
private conversation. Y'all are saying everybody knew that.
no, it's like, hey man, I can't give you all the material. We gotta wait till February, but things are a little quiet. I need more, more support. So let's
Bro,
wait till February.
bro, this is terrible, bro. This is this is terrible.
I
We
can't.
got
I
the
mean,
spot. We got the fight on the sideline, like, bro, this is
Hey man. I mean, just get ready for the off season, right? Nike or Adidas, new
bro.
stadium.
These
Uh,
people are about to tell so many lies this off season. They
yep.
got to make sure they get the lies together. If what happened today is a trial run of what they're going to be doing this off season, bro, they not on one page right now. Cause some people they hopping off the boat. They getting off the ship. They getting off the ship.
No, I mean the next narrative is going to be pushed. You guys have to be patient. What he took over was a complete dumpster fire.
Let's
You got
say
to
it
be
was a
patient.
let's say it's a dumpster fire. I don't know too many dumpster fires that go 10-3. I don't know too many. I don't know. I don't know dumpster fires that go 10-3. I don't. I don't. Like so.
Yeah, but you just understand that you got to give it time. Mario finally got his players in. You know,
I can't wait. This is going to be a great this is going to be a great off season because these individuals are going to say things that 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 they're gonna say it one day and then they're gonna immediately change it to something else the next day. I can't wait. I can't
yep.
wait. I can't wait for them to say that the spring game does not matter. I can't wait. I can't wait. With that being said, man, Q, you got any last words? Man, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I got some chores to do.
Mario to the Raiders.
Bro, stop playing with me, bro. Just stop it.
Hey, I could dream, right?
You can dream. That's a
I could
nightmare.
dream. I
That's a
could
nightmare.
dream. I
There's no
need.
recruiting. There's no recruiting in the NFL. There's no recruiting. There's no recruiting.
I know. I'm saying, Raiders going to trade up to get Cam #1, and then it'll be a perfect matchup, right? Cam brings his, former head coach to the NFL's. Match made in
To
heaven.
do to do what?
Hey, man.
To do what? What is he gonna
You
do?
want Cam to do good in the NFL? If you do, you then, you Raiders go trade up for the #1 pick, and then go get
Hey,
Mario Cristobal.
hey, hot take. Cam Ward was the head coach this past year.
I've been saying that. I mean,
Cam Ward was the
I've
head
been
coach.
saying that. He's the offense and defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Now I ain't gonna say defensive coordinator, but he was the head coach. He was the head
Nah,
coach.
he was the offensive defense coordinator because it's like if Cam, if you don't put up these points, you know what I'm saying, we're in deep trouble. So you got to play defense and offense.
God. Oh, that's my final thought. Cam Ward was the head coach. With that being said, man, we're gonna get out of here. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more shows this off season because there's just so much to take away from this season. We didn't really give a review of the season. We just kind of randomly talked about stuff.
F.
But I'm not. I mean,
I'll give you a quick answer. F.
I don't have a grade for it. I don't have a grade. I mean,
You
it's
have an NFL quarterback, and you failed to make the ACC championship game. You failed to win a bowl game. You failed to get in the playoffs. What was the goal? What was the purpose? You lost, man. Hold on. You lost to damn Iowa State. Iowa State never won 11 games in one season. Iowa State never scored 20 something points probably ever in their career in the first half. Bro, no, man.
they were
F,
averaging 30. Like
F,
South Coast said, they were averaging 30, and we was like, take that average and add something to it. Don't worry.
F.
Yes. Cam Ward was the head coach this past year. So we're losing our head coach this year.
So that's why we got to rebuild.
I don't know how Mario will recover.
No.
Well, that being said, man, I'm out.
All right.
Appreciate you dropping in, Cuban.
No problem.